Okay, more of the introduction video. So I moved back inside. It's hot out there, and one of the things you might notice in some of these intro video clips is that I'm wearing this Lucas Marine ball cap. This was given to me by a customer, and so they're not a sponsor, but if anyone out there knows anybody with Lucas Marine, and if Lucas Marine does want to sponsor my YouTube channel, or even just sponsor a YouTube video about Lucas Marine, give me a holler. Let me know. Leave a comment down below. And but until then, it's just a nice hat, so I wear it on a regular basis. So a little bit of history about me. So when I turned 50, I started thinking about going back to school. I'd sold my little business. Well, Katrina had hit, and then things, changed. Things changed drastically in the New Orleans area after Katrina. So I worked in the construction. I started up a little construction company and worked that for several years after Katrina, and then sold that, and was trying to figure out what else I was going to do with my life, since I was too old to be doing construction. And so I went to work for a hotel, worked at the hotel for a couple of years, and found out that I didn't really want to work in a hotel the rest of my life. And so then I decided to go back to school. Well, while working at the hotel, I did fall into acting, and the film industry is big in New Orleans, so I was working a lot as an actor, and I'll talk about that in a later video. But what I found out is that you hear the story about starving artist, starving actor type stuff, and it's true. It's hard to make a living in that industry. So, but I decided to go back to school to possibly get a degree in film, or maybe work behind the camera, different options. And I apologize for Barney. He likes to whine when I'm inside, especially when I'm trying to do something like this. So anyhow, one of the reasons I look so casual, if I was making a real film, I'd have hair and makeup, fix me all up, but it's just me, so I'm not worried. And this is more about rugged individualism, so I'm not looking to be all prim and proper. So I went back to school starting in 2014. That's when I sold, I pretty much, well, I was already living a rather minimalist lifestyle, living in a studio apartment, while trying to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I didn't want to spend a fortune. So but while going back to school, I said, well, I came across this deal to buy this RV that I'm in. It's a 32-foot motorhome, and I got it really cheap for just $1,200 off of Craigslist. So I bought it, drove it back to New Orleans, parked it at the hotel where I was working at, and then eventually moved it on to a rental piece of property, and then eventually bought my own land to park it on. And I live quasi off the grid. I don't have full electric and sewer, but I do run power and water off my neighbor, and but I still lead a minimalist lifestyle. Well, if you've seen the other part of the video, I'm not sure how it's going to end up in editing, but I bought 2 mini mobile homes recently, and so I will be putting sewer, water, and electric to my property. In fact, you might have seen in the background of the mobile homes the new telephone pole that's sitting up there. So the Entergy, I had Entergy put in a telephone pole and run power to the corner of my property, so I'm moving forward on that. Anyhow, I graduated. It took me, I started off part-time in school and then went full-time, and I graduated with my 2 years degree in about 2.5 years, and then went back one more semester at Delgado Community College, and I graduated with a degree in general studies, but it's a concentration in video production and television. And I thought maybe I was going to work in those industries, but those industries kind of collapsed in New Orleans shortly around that time. And I also had to take a journalism class as part of that degree program, and I realized that that's what I should have been doing from the get-go. I was always a news junkie and a political junkie, and I've been blogging since way back in the late 80s, early 90s, before they were called blogs. I had a GeoCities website. Anyhow, so, you know, going back to school, I've learned to become a better writer, and I've had to take some several English comp classes and other writing classes and journalism classes. I went back and took a whole nother semester of journalism classes before moving on to a four-year college, and I was going to finish up my four-year degree in journalism, but I may not do that now. I'm in the wrong demographics for ever going to work for a regular job. I'm an old white guy, which is not the demographics most company wants to hire nowadays. So I'm probably going to be independent. So being independent, having my associate's degree and continuing my education, I don't necessarily need a degree to do the things I want to do. As far as being an independent journalist and writing, and now considering doing travel writing and writing about my travel adventures and off-grid living and off-grid living adventures. So I think that might be enough footage to put together my introduction roll. That gives you a little background about me, and I'll take some more video footage of my solar system. Right now it's working, but it's all just temporarily in place. As I mentioned in one of the earlier clips, I'm going to eventually move the entire solar system to my 30-foot toy hauler travel trailer, and then still have, when the travel trailer is parked on my property, I'll be able to run my mobile home mostly off my solar system. But then when I decide to head out, then I'll disconnect from the mobile home, and all the solar will be permanently on the travel trailer, so that I'll be able to boondock. They call it boondocking. That's there's so many places where you can just park for free, either nightly or for up to 14 days at a time, some even longer than that, for free, as long as you got your own power and water. Some places do have power and water for free, but for the most part, you got to be self-sufficient just in case. But that's it for now.